The screen trembles with a sudden burst of wind and sound, as if the world is being peeled open and time itself is beginning to fracture. The Highlands roll into view like a memory waking up after centuries of silence. And from the moment they appear, a single question settles into the air: what if the final season of Outlander begins with the truth Claire was never meant to touch? The trailer opens on the raw sweep of Scotland under a heavy, storm-soaked sky. The wind pushes through the soaked grass in long, restless waves, whispering warnings that feel older than any timeline Claire has ever walked. Thunder murmurs from somewhere deep within the hills, a sound so alive it feels like the land is breathing. Claire's voice trembles faintly over the scene, not in words, but in a soft breath that carries the weight of everything she has survived. She stands alone on a ridge, her outline small against the vastness of a world that has shaped her love, her grief, and every impossible miracle she has witnessed. The camera draws nearer, but her face remains hidden in shadow, inviting every viewer to remember their own version of the Claire who has fought through lifetimes of loss and devotion. Behind her, a faint pulse of light ripples through the air, the unmistakable shimmer of time shifting. It's subtle, but enough to suggest that memory alone isn't what is rising. Claire presses her hand to her heart as if something ancient is reaching back for her from the past. A sudden flash hurls the viewer into the chaos of the battles she once struggled to survive, horses exploding through smoke, the metallic scream of swords clashing, the sky burning with falling embers. Claire stands at the center of this storm, untouched, as though she is suspended between time and truth, able to see but unable to move toward or away from what's unfolding around her. Her voice finally cuts through the chaos, steady but shaken, whispering that she has returned to a place where every choice they ever made still echoes. Her words bleed into a distant rumble of thunder as the camera shifts to the stones at Craignaudon. They pulse with a quiet, rhythmic energy, almost like a heartbeat. The light around them seems to thicken, the air tightening with an unspoken recognition. They react as though they sense Claire, even from afar. The trailer explains none of it, allowing the mystery to hang in the air like a riddle the season refuses to answer yet. The scene dissolves into a fog-wrapped forest path. Leaves drift downward in slow spirals, moving as though caught between two worlds. A figure appears at the far end of the trail, only a silhouette, indistinct, its presence neither threatening nor comforting. Something unknown, something waiting. The shadow moves with the kind of stillness that signals danger, not through violence, but through knowledge. Before the face can be revealed, Claire's sharp gasp cuts the sound entirely, plunging the trailer into absolute silence. Then the world shifts again. A low, rising hum vibrates through the air, as though the ground itself is waking. Claire freezes. The world around her loses color, fading into pale, drained tones. The sky folds into a hazy veil. This is not a memory, not a dream. It is something stranger, something no traveler through time has ever witnessed. When Claire blinks, everything melts away, replaced by a corridor of bending light that curves and twists like a living thread. Stretching forward, her body moves without permission, her feet guided by an unseen force. The ground glows beneath her in soft, shifting patterns like ripples of light moving across water. Each step makes the hum deepen, sensing with her heartbeat until it feels like the world is beating through her. At the end of the glowing corridor, a shape begins to form. At first, it is only a shadow wrapped in brightness. Slowly, it sharpens into a man's outline, broad shoulders, a stance carved deep into her memory. Jaime, or something wearing Jaime shape. He flickers like a memory struggling to hold itself together. Claire calls his name, but her voice disappears into the light as though swallowed whole. He reaches toward her, and for a moment, hope surges through her like a living flame. But something else appears behind him, a letter, floating in the air, suspended as though untouched by any natural law. Claire reaches toward it, and the moment her fingertip grazes the seal, the entire vision shatters into 1,000 fragments. The letter unfurls itself, and Jaime's voice fills the space, gentle, aching, carrying the weight of a confession Claire has never heard. He speaks of William not with distance or duty, but with a quiet, fragile sorrow. Jaime writes of a time he once tried to reach his son in secret, and failed. The trailer shows glimpses of the past Claire never saw, Jaime leaving the hidden letter. With trembling hands, William passing it by, oblivious to its meaning. Jaime walking away alone, believing the attempt was something best forgotten. Claire feels the truth settle inside her with the heaviness of a stone dropped into deep water. This was not meant for her eyes, nor William's, nor anyone's. The world shifts again with a sharp drop in sound, plunging the scene into stillness. A battlefield stretches across the screen, not loud, but eerily silent. William stands alone in the center, his uniform torn, his breath uneven, his hands scraped and trembling. He looks like a man who has won a battle he never wished to fight, and lost something far more precious. His face, revealed slowly, carries no rage, only a confusion so profound it borders on grief. The light around him flickers from warm gold to cold gray, mirroring the fracture inside him. He pulls off his gloves with a harsh motion, as if trying to strip away the weight of the truth pressing into him. His whispered question hangs in the air. Why does every path feel like it was built for another man? Why does the name Fraser strike something deep and unwelcome in him? Why do the stories he clings to feel stretched thin? Fragments of his past flash across the screen. Honor, discipline, pride, each moment trembling in Jaime's shadow. The scene cuts to William standing at the edge of a cliff, wind tearing at him. He presses a hand to his chest, not in pain, but in recognition of something awakening. Fear flickers in his eyes, not fear of war, but fear of identity. Fear of who he might become if the truth is real. A faint echo of Jaime's voice whispers through his memory. William tries to push it away, but the sound lingers like a ghost. He breathes sharply, steadies himself, and something inside him hardens, not denial, but resolve. Time slows. The world grows quiet. Claire walks through tall grass, sensing a presence before she sees it. When she steps into a clearing, there stands William, half lit by fading sun. His posture is rigid, his stare locked onto her with a tension that mixes suspicion with curiosity. Claire's breath softens as Jaime's letter presses on her mind. She wants to speak carefully, to offer truth without wounding him. William steps closer, drawn by something he cannot yet name. When Claire finally speaks, her voice is gentle, carrying the weight of knowledge and compassion. She tells him she once knew someone he wondered about. It is enough to open the door without forcing him through it. The tension thickens as the air holds its breath. When Claire reaches into her coat and reveals the worn parchment, William stiffens. The letter's aging edges glow with the last light of day, and its weight fills the clearing. Claire explains the pain behind the ink, the pride, the regret, the surrender Jaime buried inside the message. William takes the letter with hesitant fingers, as though afraid of what his hands are about to touch. The trailer doesn't reveal the words, only William's reaction. His eyes flicker with disbelief, sorrow, longing, and the unbearable ache of a truth finally breaking free. When he reaches the line where Jaime wrote, "Not as a soldier, not as a laird, but as a father stripped of every chance he ever wanted," William's breath falters. He lifts his gaze to Claire, searching for a lie that isn't there. The day fades into cold dusk around them. William asks why she brought this to him now, after a lifetime without it. Claire answers that he deserves to shape his life with every truth in front of him, not just the ones he inherited. Before the moment can settle, the trailer erupts into a montage of fire and war. Flames roar into the sky. Soldiers march with grim determination. The land itself seems ready to swallow everything. Jaime appears only in flash of steel in his hand, firelight in his hair, his voice declaring that hope must someday face fear. Bree and Roger run through a forest torn open by rupturing cracks of time, chased by something that should not exist. Claire studies a map of timelines, her hands gripping its edges as if she can hold the world together through sheer will. William rides through fog with renewed purpose. The letter rests over his heart. His eyes burn with a storm no longer born from confusion, but conviction. The final shot slows. Mist spreads gently over the highlands as dawn breaks. Claire steps into view, calm and steady. William appears opposite her, his steps measured, the letter tucked safely inside his coat. When he reaches her, the weight between them softens. William asks what Jaime would have wanted for him. Claire answers that Jaime would have wanted him to live fully, without fear, choosing love over legacy, truth over silence. A breeze stirs the grass. William allows a tiny, fragile smile. Then the final image settles, Claire and William standing together. As the sun rises over the highlands, a beginning shaped from truth, ready to rewrite both their destinies. A quiet voice fades in, promising that Outlander's final season will not simply close a story. It will complete a legacy built on love, loss, destiny, and the courage to face the truth.